Good evening, everyone. Today is Saturday, the 21st of February. At this time, we are all gathering to do the evening chanting to show our respect, our veneration, and homage to the Buddha for his kindness and compassion towards all beings. It is also a time that we give ourselves for the reflection, contemplation. So the time is just for ourselves. One of the very sad feeling is that today we have a rain again. After 2 days of no rain and looks like going to be a beautiful days, now here comes the rain. And it's gonna be last maybe another 2 days. Early this morning I was speaking about the weather change and was saying that now weather going to be beautiful, so our life must be beautiful too. Within a couple of hours now turn upside down. So in our life, we all have our own bubbles, and we are in those bubbles, maybe 5%, maybe less than a 5%, we are in those little bubbles. We hardly know that how much we are in that bubbles. And then we are thinking that, oh, I am fully in that bubble, and then we ourselves haven't submitted or given a full submission, but we expect others to the full submission within that bubble. We expect these bubbles, I normally call it a small world of ourselves. We have our own hundreds of small worlds, and within that little worlds, only few we engage with. And in that engagement, and again, we expect whoever involved in that small world, they should give everything so that I will get everything what I need, and I don't need to have any fear. I don't need to worry about. I have full trust. But we forgot to reflect ourselves, thinking or reflecting that in fact we ourselves haven't submitted. Full submission is not there yet, but we want to have that submission from others. So with that, there is constant a gap, voidness within us. So we think that we know, but we do not know. We think the world that we have created, I know most, but in a way, you don't know at all. You're still in a delusional state. And not only in a delusional state, we further create that, oh, this must be this. Why it is not that? And from there, we create conceit. It's called a mana, conceit. I am better. My one is better. And then if something goes wrong, and then we'll think that I have given you full support, or I have submitted everything, I trusted on you, but why. Why you didn't do this? Why you did it to me? Yeah? Like that. So it goes on like that, and with that, oftentimes that causes real mental problem. Now, this case, recently I have been trying to make sense of this story of a cheating, because I heard few people were talking about, and then I wanted to dig down and see what does that really mean. And I found that the more you dig, in fact, we are all cheaters. We're all cheaters. We're cheating one another all the time. So, when I look at that, it appears that we all have our own little bubbles that we try to keep secrets. And we all keep secrets with one another, and just like saying, don't tell anybody, okay? This is only for you. Don't speak to anyone, okay? It's only for you. Now you have already told 10 people. Like that. So we have so many secrets that we hide. So we are creating our own bubbles in that way, and thinking that we are safe, we are good. So we are projecting ourselves in a very good state, and we are very good at hiding all the bad things and try to project only good things. And which is the reason why we have lack of a trust in people, lack of a trust in friends, lack of a trust in a relationship and partners. So like that. And further on, not only that, the comparing begins there. And if that comparing, suppose somebody has a better world than ourselves, or the whatever world that we have, how many, doesn't matter how many worlds we have, that is less pleasing, and then someone has got a better one, or they are projecting in a way, like putting their good what's called a PR on a Facebook, and then we become jealous about it. That, oh, why she is having that. It can't be. And the jealousy begins there, and the troubles begins. And not only that, and sometimes, despite we are in a good place, we don't see that goodness, and we try to think of something that someone has got it. It's like seeing greener grass other side of the bank of the river. And if we run towards that, then we will not be satisfied at all. As soon as you reach another bank, you see, oh, the bank early on, it was more greener than now. Like that. And this is the case, that often we can't find the peace within. We can't find the peace with what we have. So that's why now we are living in this country, in a way we are in a luxurious life. We have a roof over our head, we have electricity, we have a gas heatings or electricity heatings, and all the electricity never goes off as long as you pay properly. Right? So we are in the heavens. So that's why I often make a joke with a nun who is living in Buddha Gaya, where the Buddha was enlightened. People from around the world visit there. Tens of thousands of people visit every year during the season time, 4 or 5 months of a year. And she is like there just needs to welcome them and no problem. And with that, she doesn't have to worry about the finance. People just want to be there and try to find a place to be. Sometimes you can't get the place to stay. When I normally make a joke to her that you are living like a country third class, but you are living like in a heaven, so you don't have to worry about it. I am living in a Scotland, and people think that, oh, this is one of the well-off countries in the world, well-developed countries in the world, but I have to struggle. So, like that. Now, this reminds me of one story that comes in the discourses. There was one monk in a Wajji's city. Wajji's city was one of the very famous one of the very famous country where the government was in a republican government, and well off. People were living in a very standard, equal shares. Everyone was very happy. So they had the certain rules that everybody has rights to come and to the meetings, state meetings, civil meetings, and then everybody has to say on any issues. With that, this country, Vajjans, was one of the very stronghold countries at that time of the Buddha. And somehow they well respected the Buddha, and pretty much many Vajjans became the Buddhist monk and Buddhist nuns, and even welcomed the Buddha and the monks in the country. And it happened that one day, one monk, he was not ordained long time, so just a couple of years. And he somehow, because of having a faith in the teachings, he decided to go and meditate in a secluded place. Now it happened that one day they in the city, the country, whole country, were celebrating all-night event. All-night event. So it was, there will be like a different kinds of entertainments, different kinds of all sorts of things there. People from around the city will go and entertaining all night. Now here, this monk was sitting in a secluded in a forest and meditating, and then hears the sound of this entertainments, and then he thinks that, oh, I am a mendicant and given the household life, now living in a secluded in the jungle like a dog nobody wanted, and dumped me in the middle of the jungle. Here, look at me. Now, whereas those people are having fun in the city all night, like that. So he was having that thought. So he was meditating but complaining. Complaining about himself being in a secluded in the forest, and he compared himself like a dog, unwanted dog, discarded in the middle of the forest. Maybe Dhammakara, he didn't see him. Sorry, Panyakara. Yeah. So then he was thinking in that way, that look at me, I'm sitting meditating, testless in the forest like a dog, an unwanted dog, dumped in the middle of the forest. Whereas these people, look at them having entertainment and having fun in the all night, like that. So something like that, when we are comparing in that way, so we are basically not satisfied or not content with what we have already. And this discontentment actually is another way of looking at it as the main root cause of all the problem. All the physical problem, all the mental problem, and then we go on into the circle again and again. If we had known this discontentment is a root cause, then the wisdom arises and we will not be manifesting on that. Our manifestation will be content there. With that, what happens? Our senses, or whatever we see, whatever we hear, we will not be disturbed. And whatever happened, we will not be disturbed from those incidents. Rather, we will be protected. And doesn't matter who did what, we are protected. So the world doesn't matter how many worlds we are living in, but our self or our own world is secure, safe, and we have this resilience there. And that is a very important part here. Sometimes we may have many, sometimes we may have a lot, but we are unsatisfied. Like Alexander the Great, I saw a few clips about him and I was reading about him. And Alexander the Great, he conquered almost half a world and he had plenty of things. But he had this one wish, according to this legend, saying that show his two hands out of a coffin. The philosophy behind it that he wanted to show the world that doesn't matter how much you have, end of the day when you die, you take nothing, even a penny. So like that. So sometimes we may have a lot, but nothing. We can be satisfied if our mind is not satisfied yet. In our village, when I was a young boy, not a man, and about 5 minutes walk from our village is the highway. And in that highway, one side of the road, there was one smith who makes the shoes, right? And then he normally comes whenever we have a snake around in the village, and we were frightened, and he will just come and catch the snake and take away, and he cooks and eat it. And then he's living with repairing shoes, leather shoes, and he's living in the hut, plastic hut, and he's very happy all the time. Whatever he does, one morning he wakes up, brushes teeth and singing hymns and goes around in the temples and then comes back and then does his work, repairing the shoes, and then as the sun sets, goes and drink and having fun, laughing and charming, and then goes back to his hut, this plastic made hut, and then sleeps peacefully. Whereas on the other side of this highway is one of the tallest building in those days, and a 4-story building, and a big. It has, if I remember correctly, probably 10 or 20, I think 10 or 12 doors. And that was again divided into 3 shops. Right? He has 3, I think, lorries as well. So normally, every night, a lorries comes from the India and then parks in front of his house. So waiting for tomorrow morning to delivery in the town. Now it happened that he was one of the richest man in our village. Okay. Now he will not sleep in the night. He had a fear that Bulgaris will come and steal goods from these lorries. So he will open the window, turn on the light. And those days, no electric lights. Electric lights were just for the temporarily. And then he will just light the oil lamp by the window. He will be sitting by the window all night. Paranoid. Not maybe paranoid, or maybe having a fear. All right? And then back then we were just laughing. And then we were like just thinking that, oh, he's very, he's guarding his goods, like that. But later on, I reflected on, and then I realized that who has got the happiness between the man who is sleeping under the hut, which is made by a plastic, who is like wakes up with the freshness, and then go around and singing songs, and then doing work, and then drinking and go back to sleep, a deep sleep. Whereas him, rich, yet he cannot sleep. He waits until the sunrise. What sort of a happiness there is?
Did he get burgled in the end? Did he fetch that into him?
I don't know. Well, later on, I think he died because of the heart attack. And his sons are still my friend. 2 sons. And one son, he became a businessman as well. And then another son, he's doing a PhD on a cultural exchange. So now he's studying 6 villages and their culture. So maybe he's going to finish this year. So we've been, friends. So like that. So who has got the happiness between a man with the mansion and a man with the hut? And definitely, I would say a man with a hut is more happy. But unfortunately, he died because of the snake bite. So he was catching.
Alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, he was going around and catching the snake, and then somehow, because of the alcohol and his attention wasn't there, maybe the snake bite him, and then he died later. So I still remember that story. I still remember both of them. And both of them, we used to sit and talk. But for the mansion person, it's a bit difficult. But because I have known his sons, so I have seen him like that. So like that, so that's why each one of us has got our own world. And then we think that we know, but we do not know, maybe 5%. But yet, we think that we know. And in the meantime, we ourselves do not submit. But whereas we expect others to submit, thinking that it brings us a happiness. And this happiness, that's why, is something that we have to look at within ourselves. How much do I understand my own world, rather than thinking of other worlds that we are related to? Rather than thinking of that relationship and another world, because never ever we will find full submission from another person. No way. Whatever you do, doesn't matter how hard you try, no way. Because we ourselves haven't understood ourselves. We do not know what we want. I do not know yet.
I always ask myself, what is this trying to show me?
Yeah. So we don't know what we want. So that's why the practice of the Dhamma, it's always pointing at yourself. Know yourself. Understand yourself. So that's why I take it as, always think about this as my own world. Have I understood? Have I understood my own world? And by diving at that, actually, the more I try to understand myself, without knowing, I am understanding others.
Yeah.
Without knowing, understanding others. And then rather than thinking of, oh, why, oh, okay. Ability to let it be there. And whatever we can do, we can to support or help in that way. So that's why it's the practice of the Dhamma is something that the Buddha's teaching says, like, know yourself. Know your own world of this body, of this mind. Even this body we don't know. Look at me, I'm having this high blood pressure, I don't know why. I don't know why. I do know the cause. One of the main causes is the genetic, which I started having this high blood pressure when I was 26, if I remember correctly. And the nurse was frightened to see my blood pressure high. And then again it was just disappeared, and then it came back, and somehow this week, no, these 2 weeks now, it's got so high. So even this body I don't know. And I think about my own mind, and something that's really important to dive into ourselves and try to ask and try to understand our own world. And by understanding that little by little, it really gives us more happiness, more peace, and that peace and happiness we also able to project others. Like when we, as being a monk particularly, I come across with so many people and then hear so many stories. And hearing those stories, all what I relate is that small particles of their stories I am relating to myself. And then, oh, that's me too. I am that too. So it's just refining a little bit by listening their stories, and listening their problems, and then I'm refining myself. So I'm in a way very lucky to be a monk, because everybody comes and talk to me and they think that I am a trustworthy. I'm not sure whether that's true.
Maybe that's why your blood pressure's high.
Didn't matter say things like that.
So that's what's happening, and with that, it really gives me more understanding of myself. So that's why today's the theme or today's message that what I wanted to share is that rather than try to fix the different worlds that we are related to and try to understand these worlds, try to find your own world and understand ourselves, our own true world, so that once we have understood even a little bit of a thing, a little bit of it, then we will be able to relate to others. And with that relation, we can generate the kindness and compassion to others without we pushing it to share or to do with to others. Right? So I wish you all the best, and may you find your own world as soon as possible. Okay? With this,
Another bubble.
Another bubble. Right, so with this, let's do the chanting.